injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Hey, hey. This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
Well, you just heard the first half of the media mock draft. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark did an amazing job, as did all of the correspondents. And now, ladies, it is our turn. And you know what? Let's kick things off the right way. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. As we do welcome in Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Frank, we're not going to ask you for the pick just yet. We just want to say thanks for joining us for the very first time on Helmets and Heels.
Well, hello, ladies. It's an honor to be here. I think you guys have been killing it since we launched this thing a few weeks ago. I mean, that's clearly, I've told you all that individually, so I'll say it with everybody listening. So congratulations, belated as it is. And thanks for having me on. I love this. I love this, by the way. I told Mike this before. Mike's kind of the creator. Mike Dempsey's the creator of this thing. And I know how hard you all worked at it, Lauren. I know you used to produce when it was on. I know how hard the producers work. JJ and I were laughing about that the other day. So I think it's a wonderful exercise, and it's a fun time of year. So thanks for having me on and letting me be part of it. I'm excited.
Frank, I can't believe it took 3 weeks of our show before we got the Frank Frangie on Helmets and Heels. But you're here, and this offseason a little longer for the Jaguars than last offseason. But what's been your thought process since January? How much has it shifted from what you maybe thought was the biggest need in January to where you sit it right now?
Well, first of all, Taylor, and you know this, but I'll tell the rest of the public, I've been trying to get on Helmets and Heels. I sent a resume. I sent an audio tape. I went through my tapes. I was told I was on a waiting list. So the fact that I got here today is a big deal. It is. Taylor, I like where the Jags are. I probably feel better about them than some others do. I think they're close. They had the 6-week collapse last year. Everybody knows that. They know that. But I think they're more the team that won 7 of 8 and was 8-3 than the team that collapsed when the injuries started happening and they lost a little confidence. So I like where they are. I think they've had a good offseason. I think they needed to get better at center. I think they needed to get better on the defensive front, on the interior of the defensive front. And I think guys like Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen fit a 4-3 scheme more than a 3-4 scheme. So I like everything that's happened so far. There's still some holes left. They're not perfect yet. But I like everywhere. I like the fact that Josh is extended, Taylor. I like that. I think Trevor's going to be extended. I'm not worried about that. So right now, as we sit here today, I really do like where they are. I like it a lot, as a matter of fact.
Plenty of smoke, Frank, about whether the Jaguars will look to trade up or trade back in tomorrow's and this weekend's NFL draft. But no trades when it comes to the 1010XL Media Mock Draft. So without further ado, with the 17th overall pick, Frank Frangie representing the Jacksonville Jaguars selects.
Yeah, well, let me give you a little background. My favorite player in the draft, Mia, is Jared Verse. He's my favorite player in the draft. And I was listening and waiting. And dang it, Seattle got him. I liked him more than the corners. I liked him more than Dallas Turner. He's my favorite player in the draft. I think he's going to be an outstanding player. So with him gone, I had to think through it. The 2 cornerbacks we're all talking about are gone. I don't love the other corners. So the way the board fell, that Trent Baalke says the board talks to you, right?
Yes.
I think the way the board fell, Mia, for me, I think Brian Thomas is too good of a player to pass up. He's 6'3", he's 210. He ran 4.33 at the combine. We were there. I think there's too much. I've said all along it's a need pick, but I think there's too much value, and I think there's some need there as well. So for me, with the 17th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Jaguars select wide receiver Brian Thomas out of LSU.
Trust the board, Frank. Well done. Real quick question from me, just because while we're on the subject of wide receivers, I am curious to gauge your perspective right now, where that Jaguars wide receiver room sits. Do you value going out and getting a younger guy, even if, again, outside of the 1010XL Media Mock Draft, if you were able, let's say, to get up into the top 10, if you may, get one of those top 3 wide receivers versus trading and adding a proven veteran commodity?
I think there's too much. It would take too much equity, Mia, to go up there. I think if you were 17 going to 14, if you were 11 going to 8, maybe. But I think how high you'd have to go to get one of those big 3. I think it would cost you too much as you continue to build your team. So I wouldn't move up. I don't think they move up or back. And I know part of this media mock draft, that's not in play. But even if it was, I think where they sit, I don't think they move up or back. I will tell you this. I had some interest in the Ayuk stuff when that rumor was floating everywhere, but that would cost you an awful lot too. So I listen. They could play tomorrow with Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, and Zay Jones, and that's a pretty good core now. But I think you can make it better. They don't have a guy that takes the top off of defense yet. That's the one thing I think they're missing, and I think Brian Thomas would give them that. So to your question, I wouldn't spend the equity it would take to go that far up the draft to get a receiver to get one of those big three.
So, Frank, tomorrow we will be at Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra. I'm sure you're not busy on draft day, so come hang out with us from noon to 2. Maybe we'll buy you lunch since it did take 3 weeks to get you on the show. But moreover, when can people tune in to hear your coverage?
Be careful what you ask for. I might just head out there. I'd love to have lunch once you guys work. What we're going to do is I won't be on the Frangie show. Hacker's going to fill in. He'll do a fantastic job. Hayes and Hacker will have that. As you know, Lauren, being on the show all the years, I generally don't do the show on draft day because Tony, Jeff, and I then do the draft show. So it'll be Tony, Jeff, and I. We treat it just like a ball game. It's a 4-hour broadcast. We launch right at 8 o'clock. We'll be there through the end of the first round or whatever it takes. It's probably close to midnight, if not to midnight. But we'll go through every pick. You'll hear scouting reports like you are today on every player. You'll hear Jeff and Tony tell you the story. Both first-round draft picks. They'll tell you their stories. And they'll certainly work through what they think the Jaguars need to do. I'll say one thing about my two color guys. They don't pull punches. They're honest. You guys know that. They're straightforward. They're great. They're two of the best color guys I've ever worked with in my life, and I can't wait to be in the booth. So we'll be in the booth tomorrow. We'll treat it like a game broadcast, but it'll be our Jaguars Network broadcast from 8 to 10, Lauren, talking all about the draft right when it starts.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much, Frank.
All right, thank you, ladies. Thanks for having me.
All right, remember, he'll be on 4 to 6 today with Hayes, and then, like you said, draft coverage tomorrow night. So Frank selected Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver out of LSU. Let's hear the scouting report.
Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, LSU.
Snap is back to Daniels. Pump fakes. Now airs it out towards the end zone. One-on-one. Brian Thomas! He grabs it. Finishes the play in the back right corner. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers! Hey now!
Alongside Malik Neighbors at LSU was Brian Thomas Jr. He broke out last season with a whopping 17 touchdowns for the Tigers. At 6'4" with explosive speed, some scouts believe he has the second best skill set of any receiver in the draft. His route running needs fine-tuning, but he has terrific upside.
That's the guy, as y'all know, I've been banging the drum for quite some time. We'll see if that's how it all goes. If the Jaguars stay at 17, that'll certainly be a massive talking point tomorrow on our show. All right, from the LSU Bayou Bengals to the actual Bengals, they're on the clock now.
I have been told that this guest is ready to zig on me. I don't know what zig means, but I can only guess. In his third consecutive appearance in the 1010XL Media Mock Draft representing the Cincinnati Bengals, it is Marshall Kramsky of WCPO TV in Cincinnati. And, of course, Marlboro High School, Central New Jersey acclaim. Marshall is actually en route, ladies, right now to Detroit for the NFL Draft. He just crossed state lines. How are you, my friend?
I am great, Mia, after that introduction. Yes, third time in a row in the Media Mock Draft, but first time on Helmets and Heels, and this is awesome. One of the coolest things going on in local radio across the country. Super pumped to be here today. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. I did tell him, Taylor, that you would be the one to ask about what was Mia like when she was in high school, what was her sister like. But we'll get right to it, Marshall. The Cincinnati Bengals are obviously coming off of a quote-unquote disappointing season, but I think when you consider the injuries that occurred, it probably was the best situation outside of sneaking into the playoffs. Where would you say they currently stand big picture in the Joe Burrow plan?
The plan is Joe Burrow to be out there for week one. The plan is that Joe Burrow is not going to miss a single step from when he was last healthy, which was for only a few games in the middle of last season. So right now, the Bengals are still of that belief of Super Bowl or bust right now. I mean, they were outside circumstances away from making the playoffs themselves without Joe Burrow last year. So they think they still have the team that, with a few additions here or there, that should be the team that challenges the Chiefs in the AFC.
So, Marshall, we have a lot of talks as January hits of where the biggest needs for teams, and a lot of, you'll rank them from 1 to 5 or whatever it is. How much have some of those have those needs changed at all within these last 3 months of what has kind of been at the top of your radar for the Bengals?
Not too much. I mean, the T. Higgins news makes the wide receiver position a little more pertinent because, it's important to remember the draft isn't just for this season, which it feels like now more and more teams are leaning towards, especially at the quarterback position. But wide receiver is going to be a need, if not this year, if not next year, then definitely the year after that, because they're going to have to pay Jamar Chase soon as well. And then the same thing, they keep doing this 1-year deal on the offensive tackle position where they're signing guys to a 1-year deal or a short deal, going back from Lyle Collins, then bringing on Orlando Brown Jr., and then most recently bringing Trent Brown, who Trent Brown hasn't played a full season since, I don't even know, for when he was in New England. Plus now losing DJ Reader, who went down at the end of last season, actually going to the Detroit Lions. Defensive tackle is also a big need. They did bring in Sheldon Rankins, but between him and B.J. Hill, that's really all the veteran depth they have there. So I think those are the 3 biggest needs for the Bengals going into this draft. After that, it's probably their secondary.
All right, Marshall, it is time for you to make the selection. Who do the Bengals take if they stay at 18?
I think if this person flips, it's going to be unbelievable. Through the cornfields of Champaign, Illinois, they're about to be known for one more person. Grizon Johnny Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois. This dude is a dog. I don't think in the real draft, there's any way he slips this low. I think this is a defensive rookie of the year likely candidate. So if he drops, I don't see the Bengals passing on Newton.
I know a lot of folks believe that he will be landing somewhere in the top 20, even if some folks, I've seen Vegas, some odds have him maybe falling outside of the first round. But Marshall says it'll be Johnny Newton out of Illinois, the defensive tackle, to the Cincinnati Bengals at number 18. Thank you so much, my friend. We'll have you on at some point in time to catch up even further on Helmets and Heels.
Awesome. Can't wait, ladies. Thanks so much for having me.
Currently en route to Detroit, of course, the site for this weekend's NFL draft. Let's get to know Johnny Newton a little bit more, RJ.
Johnny Newton, defensive tackle, Illinois.
Back to pass, lock, retreats. Newton grabs him and sacks him. Back inside the Wisconsin 45. So Johnny Newton says, I'm not having any of that.
As the anchor of the Illinois defensive line, Newton had a highly decorated final season in 2023. He was a consensus All-American and was named the Nagurski-Woodson Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. He's a natural interior rusher with quick hands and is explosive at the point of attack. However, he is undersized and can occasionally struggle in the run game.
There you have it, Johnny Newton, the defensive tackle for Illinois. And right now, the Rams are on the clock.
All right, let's continue on to this pick number 19 and head out to the West Coast, talk some Los Angeles Rams with Greg Beecham from Associated Press. Greg, thanks for hopping on to Helmets and Heels and our second part of our media mock draft.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready.
So let's take a look a little bit before we get to that pick and ask you the exact pick that you are expecting the Rams if they were to stay there at 19. Obviously, no trades in this media mock draft, but we're looking at a quarterback in Matthew Stafford who went from Detroit over to L.A., won a Super Bowl, now heading into year 16. What are the thoughts just around Matthew Stafford, how much longer he has there in L.A.?
I don't think they're ready to push the transition button just yet, largely because of how well he played last year. He wasn't healthy the year after their Super Bowl, and that affected everything that they did. Last year, he was largely healthy, and he looked really good in the majority of their games. He put together one of his better seasons. He made, he's played a large role in making a star out of Puka Nacua. He has a good connection with the other guys there, and I don't think they're quite ready to make a transition plan. Having said that, if there's a quarterback in the later rounds that they really like, I think they'll definitely jump on that. They also got Stetson Bennett back from his year-long absence in off-season workouts this last couple of weeks. So they have a lot of options at quarterback. I don't think it's quite time to make the transition yet because I think Matthew still has a few good years in him. And contrary to other people talking about it, he's never really personally talked about retirement to us or to the Rams. So it's looking good for them in terms of the quarterback position for next year at least.
Greg, how would you prioritize the Rams' needs right now as far as positions go?
Well, they have a couple of needs that they filled through free agency. They revamped their entire secondary. They signed three veteran guys who know what they're doing and will make a big impact on a team that really struggled in the secondary last year.
They already have a nice selection of offensive playmakers. Sean McVay would always love another offensive playmaker, particularly a speedy receiver who can stretch the field, who he trusts a little more than Tutu Atwell, apparently. But the number one and number 1A needs that they probably have are on the defensive line and at the edge. They struggled to sack the quarterback last year, even though their rookie nose tackle Kobe Turner had a great year pressuring the quarterback. They had one guy on the edge who did a good job in rookie Byron Young, but they're both rookies. They're still young players. Other than that, they didn't get a lot of impact from anybody who's going to be back next season, and that's largely because Aaron Donald retired. On the defensive line, they need bodies, period, let alone really good, talented players. They didn't sign a defensive lineman in free agency, so they need people up front. They need people on the edge who can put a pressure on the quarterback and do the important stuff to make the back seven look better. So to me, by far and away, their number one need is on the defensive line, not only because they need an impact player, but they just need players. They need guys who can play in the NFL, and the first round is your best opportunity to get that at this point.
I know that our Southeast Georgia listeners and our Georgia fan listeners love that Stetson shout out. But with the table now set, Greg, for the first time since 2016, the Los Angeles Rams are in line to make a first-round selection. And if they do pick at number 19 overall, the Los Angeles Rams, by way of Greg Beacham of the Associated Press, select...
Well, I was looking at your list, and I couldn't believe this guy was on the board. I know everybody says that, we couldn't believe he was available. Oh, it's amazing. We got the guy we wanted. This is incredible. But Dallas Turner is still on your board from Alabama, so the Rams are going to scoop him up like the last burger at In-N-Out on 2 a.m. on a Friday. They are going for him. Incredible talent, exactly what they need. Difference-making, Josh Allen type on the edge. That's absolutely what they want, and if he's on the board, they would not hesitate. They might even trade up to get a guy like Dallas Turner. They would probably assume he would be gone before they could even trade up to, so... That is 100% the pick for the Los Angeles Rams.
I like that note, too, that the Rams could be in the trade-up business after so many years of trading those picks away, Greg.
Yes, we talked to Les yesterday, and he said all three options are on the table: trade up, trade back, or stay there. And I think he's absolutely honest. He would do anything depending on what the situation was.
They are not rebuilding. They are ready for the next step, those Los Angeles Rams. Greg, thank you.
Absolutely.
Taylor's got one more question for you.
No.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I was just going to say goodbye and thank you.
Oh, hey, listen, all good. Greg, we appreciate you joining the 1010XL Media Mock Draft.
Thank you so much.
We were talking, Taylor, before the show. Couldn't believe Dallas Turner was still on the board.
I know.
And the Jaguars were picking, so certainly the fact that it took this long to get Dallas Turner
if that happened
off the
in real
board.
life, it would be definitely a shocker.
Yeah, absolutely. So he goes 19th to the Los Angeles Rams. Let's get the scouting report on Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner, edge rusher, Alabama.
Jefferson gets the snap. Everybody deploys, and Jefferson is going to go down. The third sack of the day. Dallas Turner, and what a time for that sack right there.
Named the SEC Defensive Player of the Year and a consensus All-American, Turner was a reliable impact playmaker on defense for the Crimson Tide. His raw athleticism turned heads at the Combine, running a 4.4 40-yard dash and leading all linemen and linebackers in the vertical jump. Turner was a force in college and profiles as a future dangerous pass rusher at the NFL level.
All right, there you have it. Dallas Turner finally off the board with the 19th pick, and right now the Steelers are on the clock. All right, so we've seen Brian Thomas Jr. go at 17, Johnny Newton go at 18, and Dallas Turner go at 19 as we welcome in Brooke Pryor from ESPN. Brooke, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course. I was already excited for the draft, but doing these mocks just makes me wish that it was already tomorrow night. I feel like it's going to take a year to get there.
Especially when you're sitting at 20, Jaguars are sitting at 17. If they stay there or if they trade back, it takes even longer. All right, so let's talk about who you think, as far as position-wise, the Steelers need to get with that 20th pick.
Yeah, the Steelers have been very intentional in the guys that they brought in the pre-draft process. Everyone was either an offensive lineman, a cornerback, defensive back, or wide receiver. That tells me those are the positions that they're prioritizing in this draft. Makes a ton of sense. They obviously went out and completely renovated, revamped the quarterback room, adding Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. But to make those guys really effective, they need to have a better offensive line, and that starts with the center after they released Mason Cole just prior to free agency. And they need another top-tier offensive tackle to kind of pair with Broderick Jones, who they traded up with, or who they traded up for in the draft last year.
Brooke, Mia O'Brien here. Thank you so much for taking care of my fellow Ithaca College Bombers last week at Jenna Harner's bachelorette party. I had to get that out there first and foremost. Secondly, a lot of smoke regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers draft tendencies. The fact that they haven't taken a wide receiver in the first round since Antonio Holmes in 2006. A lot of people believe that trend could be broken, but you believe that there's a good chance they stick with their bread and butter along the offensive line.
Yeah, exactly, because they are so good historically at drafting receivers, day 2, day 3 guys. They haven't had as much success developing those guys recently. I mean, they just traded away Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, didn't pan out. George Pickens has a ton of talent, but it's kind of remains to be seen if he can hit the ceiling that they really see for him and they saw out of him when he was at Georgia. But they've done a really good job at least identifying guys that can come in and be, day one starters or at least very early contributors at wide receiver. And so because of that, I don't think that they need to use a premium pick on a receiver in the first round. I actually got some stats this morning from Hembo, one of our great producers at ESPN, that showed the hit rate of some of these first round positions. And the hit rate, which is identified or characterized as guys who get second contracts with the teams that drafted them. Center, offensive tackle, and guard have the highest hit rates in the last 10 years in the draft, which tells me that that those are the positions that if you can draft a guy in the first round on the offensive line, it's going to be a long-time starter, or at least someone that sticks around for a good while in the organization and makes that a really valuable pick.
All right, Brooke. Well, with that being said, with the 20th pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select
offensive tackle Amarius Mims from Georgia. He's someone who doesn't have a ton of starting experience. He's a little raw in that way, but they went, like I said, last year, they grabbed Broderick Jones from Georgia, offensive tackle. He eventually moves into the starting lineup last year. And this year, going into this season, I think that there's a little bit of a question mark at what point Broderick Jones will move over to left tackle, because he played right tackle all of last season when he was a starter. And that tells me that they like what he can do at right tackle, but they really do see him as a left tackle. At some point, I think that if they do draft Mims there, you move Broderick Jones over to left tackle, Mims at right tackle, but he's given kind of the luxury to develop a little bit because you've got Dan Moore Jr. there at left tackle. I was torn because all of the top centers are still on the board, but I was surprised to see Mims there, although there are some, concerns, I think, league-wide because of his lack of starting experience that keeps him on the board there. And, I think that there's a chance that he falls out of the first round. But to me, the Steelers look at a guy like that and just see a ton of raw athletic potential that makes him a can't-miss guy there in the first round.
Makes sense to me, Brooke. The Eagles have 5 Georgia players, and the Steelers already have 3. Like you said, Broderick Jones, George Pickens, Darnell Washington. They want to get in the Eagles league, and that makes a lot of sense to everybody who watches Georgia football.
Exactly. Yeah, listen, I think that all of Georgia football is just moving to Pennsylvania. They're just splitting what side of the state they end up on.
You got that right. Brooke, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, so she made the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and she went with Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. Let's hear the scouting report now.
Amarius Mims, tackle, Georgia. He started less than 10 games in his collegiate career, but scouts are enamored with his rare combination of size, athleticism, and raw strength. Mims has elite quickness and footwork and pass protection and can overwhelm defenses with sheer power in the run game. The worry with Mims is lack of experience and injury concerns, but he has all the raw talent to be a terrific NFL tackle.
So Dane Brugler of The Athletic described it earlier this week as Amarius Mims isn't a raw project, he's just inexperienced. And I think that it's important to make that differentiation because people are so excited by the talent that we saw in 8 games. But again, it just comes down to beauty in the eyes of the beholder. Can you live with the fact that he has a smaller sample size when it comes to actual game tape at the college level? Another name that I've heard, don't be surprised, that the late 20s, especially knowing we're entering interior offensive lineman alley, if you may, is Graham Barton. Daniel Jeremiah has said he's one of the fastest risers that we have seen over this last month of the draft process. And knowing all well that, as Brooke Pryor alluded to, the Steelers Steelers said goodbye to a veteran center, could they also lean into a player who has played all 5 positions along the offensive line?
I'll tell you one thing, both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields will say thank you for protection because they're the 2 most sacked quarterbacks the last 2 years.
There you have it. Ryan Wilson, that's who he has going to the Steelers, and his latest mock draft is Graham Barton out of Duke. All right, when we come back, the Dolphins will be on the clock. Dave Hyde makes the pick for the Dolphins. RJ, by the way, you are crushing it in there. Great job. We will return on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's more than a game.
No matter how talented you are, it still comes down to that brotherhood of playing for one another.
1010XL. It's why we play.
Make your outdoor living perfect with Art of Natural Stone. Pavers, patios, gravel, pool decks, and more. Using all natural stone design, and they do the installation. Visit Art of Natural Stone on Route 1 near Bartram Springs or on Beach Boulevard.
Mia here. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino, though, is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. And the live casino is so easy to use, folks. Just go to mybookie.ag and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. And while you're there, of course, you can visit the MyBookie Sportsbook. I had so much luck yesterday. Let's stay in the NBA. I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to pick the Miami Heat to cover a 14.5-point spread against the Boston Celtics and the New Orleans Pelicans outright over the number 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive perks. That's promo code 1010XL only at MyBookie.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today, or log on to bariorthopedics.com.
Find out more at bariorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This Mother's Day season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. Buy a $75 gift card or more and guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes a perfect gift for everyone. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows K-12 head football coach Aaron Beasley here. Come out to celebrate the grand opening of our new track and football field. Two-time Super Bowl winning coach Gerald Ingram, former NFL kicker Mike Hollis, and other former NFL athletes are excited to see you there. Food trucks, bounce houses, DJ Barracuda, raffles, and giveaways. Free event this Saturday from 11 to 2. Full details at baymeadowscharter.org. Join me, Aaron Beasley, and my friends this Saturday.
Any action? Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
That's a big redfish, guys.
With Captain Kevin Faber.
Oh, my gosh.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand-new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars.
Bueller Air Conditioning presents Are You Cool? Today's challenger, a corporate management manager from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Les Blankston.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
That is a remarkably beige suit there, Les. Tell us, why are you on the show?
Well, I just replaced my old air conditioner with a new one from Bueller, and I'm just so comfortable these days. I wondered, am I cool now?
Let's find out, Les. Go ahead and spin the wheel.
That's right, Les. By upgrading your old AC to a more energy-efficient model from Bueller Air Conditioning, you'll save money, save energy, and proudly show your family that you are cool.
Ooh, do you think I should get a mohawk?
Pace yourself, Les.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
We have arrived at the 21st pick, so that means the Miami Dolphins are on the clock. And we welcome in Dave Hyde, South Florida Sun Sentinel columnist. Dave, thanks so much for joining us on this Media Mock Draft.
Good to be here on draft time. It's good. Glad it's close, finally.
That's absolutely right. All right, last season it felt like the Dolphins finally got a healthy Tua and started to go in the right direction. So what kind of needs do they have as of now?
Well, they need to score more points, basically. against winning teams, playoff teams, they scored 15-8 points. Everybody else, they scored over 35 points. So they got to figure how to, against good defenses, score more. So my thought, unless one of the top defensive players falls, like the UCL linebacker, because of health reasons, they'll go offense, in either offensive line or receiver.
And that, Dave, that's despite injuries to Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. I'm curious, a succession plan or an insurance policy for those two players coming off significant injuries?
Yeah, well, they've signed Shaq Barrett in free agency. They have a couple other low-level signings on the edge. Jalen Phillips saying he's going to be back. We'll see. We'll see from an Achilles. That might be rushing it. But yeah, that's a serious question too. That's why if one of the premier edge rushers falls, and the guy I'm watching is a UCL linebacker because he's got health concerns, and maybe he falls them. I think they take him, but other than that, I would think they also lost. They have questions on the offensive line as always, and so fortifying that for Tua is a major concern.
Well, Dave, and before we get that official pick, are Miami fans viewing this as a possible window with, Buffalo Bills kind of sending all of their receivers elsewhere? We'll see with Aaron Rodgers, the Patriots kind of in the question with quarterback. Is this kind of a window you guys are seeing as opportunity?
This is their last year and this year are their major opportunities to win. They didn't win last year. The way they structured it, where they tanked for a couple years and collected draft picks, and they spent money and draft picks to the point they've had the least draft capital in NFL history for the last 3 years, including this year. They're all in on this year. Their window is now because, as you've seen this offseason, they couldn't afford Christian Wilkins or Rob Hunt. They're starting to lose guys and talent because they've spent so much money in the last few years, and on the Tyreek Hills and Jalen Ramsey and Bradley Chubb's free agents, or not free agents, but trades they've made with guys who needed big contracts. So their window is now, and at times with Buffalo as Buffalo regroups.
All right, Dave, without further ado, with the 21st pick in the 2024 1010XL Media Mock Draft, the Miami Dolphins, by way of Dave Hyde of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, select.
Well, I'm announcing it, Okay.
Oh,
JC
yeah, that's all you, brother man.
Okay. I'm surprised he fell to the Dolphins. He's a tackle. I was going to go with Graham Barton, the Duke tackle, and a guy they're putting in the middle of the line. But if I can get Alabama's tackle here at this level, I'd take him in a second. I'd run the card to the podium, and it does a lot of things for the Dolphins. One, it gives them a succession plan at tackle where Teron Armstead has been hurt all the time. And two, the idea is hopefully he can move inside and play guard for a year, as many do. Laramie Tunsil did it for the Dolphins before moving back out to tackle. So that'd be a great pick for the Dolphins.
So just to confirm, you're taking J.C. Latham, not Graham Barton.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Correct, yes.
All right, there you have it. Thanks so much, Dave. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
All right, there he goes, Dave Hyde. He chose J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. Let's hear the scouting report.
J.C. Latham, tackle, Alabama. Taking over after Evan Neal went to the NFL, Latham hit the ground running as a stalwart on the Crimson Tide offensive line. In 2 years, he allowed just 2 total sacks and was a difference maker in the run game as well, thanks to his massive size at 6'6" and 360 pounds. He can have issues with quicker edge rushers, and his footwork needs improvement, but scouts believe Latham will only continue to develop as a pro.
There you have it. So time now, the 22nd pick overall. The Eagles are on the clock.
Making her maiden voyage in the 1010XL Media Mock Draft, friend of the program, Olivia Reiner of the Philadelphia Inquirer, joins us now. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, but I will say that the Eagles are very disappointed that they could not trade up in the first round.
Sad day for Howie Roseman, but alas, those are the rules of the 1010XL Media Mock Draft. But hey, let's talk about that before we ask you for your official pick for the Eagles at 22nd, Olivia. You expect Howie Roseman to try to find a way up this board Thursday night?
I think the better question is, will Howie Roseman not try to find a way to move their first round pick in some capacity? He has a pretty strong history of moving either up or down in his last 6 drafts. There's only one draft in his last 6 that he hasn't moved from his initial point in the first round. The majority of them he's moved up. Only once has he moved back. I would think if I had to guess, I would think he would rather try to move up in this year's draft than move back. But we'll see exactly what happens. For the sake of this exercise, though, we'll stay at number 22.
Olivia, is there any sense of panic at all defensively? Because we saw, a couple seasons ago, a historically fantastic defense, and things kind of fell off a little bit last season. Is there any panic, or more so that was just kind of a fluke of last year?
Not sure if there's panic. I think there is an understanding, though, that this defensive core needs to get younger and kind of get on the same level as the offense. The offense has this really incredible young core, of course, headlined by quarterback Jalen Hurts, and they've done a really good job, especially this past offseason, continuing to build around him and support him, recently extending wide receiver Devontae Smith, left tackle Jordan Mailata, left guard Landon Dickerson. So they've got a lot of great pieces in place around him. They added Saquon Barkley in the offseason. It's now time to try to do something similar on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, Olivia, you are on the clock. We're so sorry that it has to be with the 22nd pick, but you are on the clock. Who are you taking for the Eagles?
All right. Despite everything I just said, the Eagles in this scenario are going to pick up a tackle, and a right tackle, potentially in the future, the successor to Lane Johnson in Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. I think obviously there is a need for a cornerback potentially, and that's certainly not off the table in this scenario. But I will say Howie Roseman historically has placed a premium on, the trenches early in the draft. And, we've seen that primarily on the defensive side, a defensive tackle over the last couple seasons. Roseman is someone who likes to plan in advance for succession plans. He did that with Jason Kelce, drafting Cam Jurgens 2 years early before Kelce's retirement this offseason. Lane Johnson is about to turn 34 years old. If you look, at his contract, he has a few more years left, but it is typical of Roseman to, just build out, have that future plan in place. And I think Guyton could offer them that potential to be a starter at right tackle. And he kind of also poses the potential to play right guard in the short term. And that is a need for them as well going into next season with Cam Jurgens moving over from right guard, likely to center to replace Jason Kelce. So I am taking a right tackle potentially for down the line here in Guyton for the Eagles.
Oklahoma tackles have worked out well for the Eagles before with Lane Johnson, and now another Sooner headed to the city of brotherly love to be his successor. Olivia, thank you so much for joining the 1010XL Media Mock Draft.
Of course, anytime.
There she goes again, Olivia Reiner of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Let's learn a little bit more about Tyler Guyton.
Tyler Guyton, tackle, Oklahoma. Only a 3-star recruit out of high school, Guyton made tremendous strides at TCU and later at Oklahoma. At 6'7" and 328 pounds, his size alone makes it difficult for rushers to get around the edge. Coupled with lateral quickness and reach, Guyton has the makeup of a talented NFL tackle. Despite the natural ability, he is prone to inconsistency and may need time to develop under NFL coaching.
So the last 3 picks have been offensive tackle. Now with the 23rd pick overall, the Vikings are on the clock.
Alrighty, we head back to the NFC North with the Minnesota Vikings at pick number 23. We're joined by Tyler Fornes. He is with Viking Sporting News and Score North. Tyler, thanks so much for hopping on with us.
Hey, great to be on with you guys again. This is a fun time of year.
It definitely is. As we look at what happened today, Tyler, in this draft, no trade-ups, and J.J. McCarthy fell to the Vikings with that 11th pick. They didn't even have to do anything to get their quarterback. So outside of that quarterback, what are the Vikings looking at? Let's not name the player yet, but kind of some of those positional needs that the Vikings are looking beyond the QB.
So it's really interesting when you look at the Vikings roster because you could target a multitude of areas. Defensive line is probably the biggest one. They just don't have a lot of depth, neither do they have high-end talent. Like when you looked at the Los Angeles Rams last few years, they didn't have a lot of depth on the defensive line, but they had Aaron Donald, so they were able to make it work. The Vikings don't have a player anywhere close to that caliber, so it becomes a real weakness. Edge rusher is lacking some depth. Andrew Van Ginkel only signed a 2-year deal, so that could be a priority. Same with cornerback. Byron Murphy Jr. and Shaq Griffin are both on expiring contracts, and they have a bunch of young guys who just have not proven enough to really want to put your future completely in their hands. Plus, you have wide receiver, which is a need nobody is really talking about. Kevin O'Connell loves 3 wide receiver sets. You're probably not going to have T.J. Hawkinson for at least the first 2 months of the year, maybe the entire year, depending on how that ACL heals. And your wide receiver 3 is one of Brandon Powell or Trent Sherfield, and that's just not enough for what this offense is supposed to be. And left guard, the Vikings feel like they need a guard every single year, but they do have bookend tackles. Garrett Bradbury is a capable enough center, especially at his price point of less than $5 million per year. And they could really go a multitude of directions as long as they get a talented player. I think the fan base will be very happy.
Tyler, I am curious on the defensive side of the ball. I know we asked you this when we had you on last week as part of our countdown to 17 right here on Helmets and Heels. The defensive side of the ball, how much more do you think Brian Flores needs in terms of personnel to truly operate the defense that he wants to run?
I really like how you framed that question because he doesn't need anything else. He was able to take, honestly, a subpar group of players when you look at their talent in aggregate and take them to an average defense. And what he wants to run, I truly don't know what he actually wants to run, but he's running stuff that he feels that he can be successful with this group. And if you give him more talent, he's going to give you better results. But it's not something where you have to give it to him in order to get really good results. If the Vikings end up having a top 5, top 10 offense and the defense is average, then I think that this is a team that could end up making a run either this year or next year. But if you give him enough talent to where he can give you a top 5 defense, then you're talking about a potential Super Bowl. So do you want to invest a little bit more in that young quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, or do you want to give Brian Flores one more weapon to ease the pressure off of him? It's a dynamic that I'm very intrigued to see what Kwesi Adofo-Mensah would do if put in the situation of having that quarterback and pick 23. But it's going to be hard to go wrong if the player hits.
All right, Tyler, who is your pick with that 23rd pick?
I am going to take Penn State edge rusher Chop Robinson. I almost took Texas wide receiver Adonai Mitchell because I think his ability to play the X is kind of next level and is a compliment to what they have in Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. But Chop Robinson, for me, is the 4th best player in this draft class. He has a special first step that reminds me a lot of Von Miller. You have to work with him on some functional strength, being able to utilize that and leverage a little better, work on some technique. But he is so explosive in stopping the run. He's explosive in rushing the passer. And you get him with a good coaching staff, you could have a very, very special player in the next few years. And somehow a playoff team is going to get Chop Robinson. To me, that's absurd.
Yes, it is absurd. So with the 23rd pick for the Minnesota Vikings, Tyler Forness of Viking Sporting News selects Chop Robinson. Tyler, thanks for hopping on with us again. It was great talking to you.
Great talking to you, too. You guys have a wonderful day.
All right, and here we go for the scouting report on Chop Robinson.
Chop Robinson, edge rusher, Penn State.
Straight drop. Here comes Chop. Fumbles the football loose on the turf. They're surrounded. Robinson's there, and Penn State recovers. Chop Robinson belted him. Chop Robinson finished and recovered.
With tremendous speed off the edge, Robinson is a dangerous rusher with a natural ability to get to the quarterback. He was named first team All Big Ten last season and consistently caused problems in opposing backfields. Robinson is undersized for a defensive lineman and may struggle in the run game early on, but could contribute immediately as a designated pass rusher.
There you go. When we return, the Cowboys will be on the clock. You are listening to Helmets and Heels in the Media Mock Draft on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
One of the best kept secrets in the United States. Shh, let's keep it that way. Jacksonville, FLA, home of 1010XL.
Imagine a complete one-stop shop for all your company's technology needs. A Jacksonville business who keeps their customer service local, so you never get outsourced to a distant call center. When your company is ready for faster support for managed IT services, voice-over IP phone systems, or access control, discover why so many business owners select Total Business Systems. Call 604-6900, 604-6900, or jacksitexperts.com.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, experience the thrill of the Kentucky Derby at Best Bet. Saturday, May 4th, witness the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and dive into the action with live wagering. This could be your lucky day. Mark your calendars and join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine on May 4th for the ultimate Kentucky Derby experience. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
State in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 24th, in the 2004 NFL Draft, Ole Miss quarterback Eli Manning is selected first overall by the San Diego Chargers.
Golf is as popular as it's ever been, and Hidden Hills welcomes all who love this game as much as we do. You'll surely enjoy our Arnold Palmer design, which is nestled in one of the highest elevations in North Florida. Book your tee time today, and you'll be glad you did.
At what temperature is Fahrenheit equal to Celsius?
Southern Oak Insurance knows that you want to save money on your homeowner's insurance. So why not try some old-fashioned common sense? Ask your Southern Oak agent about our roof replacement schedule. It will save you money.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
At
40 degrees below zero. The temperature is the same in Fahrenheit and Celsius. Why? It takes too long to explain.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Business owners, regular maintenance of your storm drains is crucial for preventing parking lot floods and protecting your property from damage. Give Duck Duck Rooter a call today and schedule service with our VACCON team. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Now that's what I call high quality H2O. If you want high quality water throughout your home, call your local water boy. We install equipment to solve any water problem. WaterBoyJax.com.
Beard's Diamond's most popular sale is back.
For the final week, all wedding bands are buy one, get one free.
Plus, all stackables, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and more are buy one, get one free.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Dave Binion here with my son Ammon, who is the air duct cleaning manager at Zero Res. So Ammon, you may notice a little rattle in my voice and some puffiness in my eyes. That's because allergy season is coming on. Can Zero Res help?
Yes, your health has a lot to do with the air you breathe. A clean and healthy home begins with clean air. At Zero Res, we can help clean the air in your home by cleaning your air ducts, cleaning the coils in your HVAC units, and fogging the system with a powerful antimicrobial that helps kill and control the growth of microorganisms in your air. We also have options for maintaining your clean air with our excellent inline air purifier and UV lights that will help keep your system clean and healthy. At Zero Res, we are more than just air duct cleaners. We're a clean air specialist.
Have Zero Res air duct specialists out, and right now we'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning, and while we're at it, we'll give you $50 off your dryer vent cleaning. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Let Hodges Mazda find the perfect Mazda SUV just for you. Lauren Brooks here. Transition from city streets to off-road trails in a newly leased 2024 Mazda CX-50 for only $316 a month, or lease the stunning 5-passenger 2024 Mazda CX-30 for only $298 a month. Our professional non-commissioned sales team always puts your best interests first. Plus, every vehicle purchase comes with 2 years free maintenance. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com for the Hodges Mazda difference. See dealer for details, lease, terms, and fees for qualified applicants. Expires April 30th, 2024.
Life isn't the same without live music. Players Grill Mandarin has Samuel Sanders performing covers and original music this Saturday at 8 p.m. Jam out with this local singer-songwriter while enjoying tasty food everyone can enjoy. Players Grill Mandarin, where the neighborhood
This
meets.
is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332, go to flyskylife.com, and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Old City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
All right, we've made it to the 24th pick in today's media mock draft, and that being said, the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. Mickey Spagnola of DallasCowboys.com joins us now. Mickey, thanks so much for joining us.
Sure, good to be with you. Hope you guys are having fun.
We are having a blast. All right, I know Cowboys fans weren't thrilled during free agency, so what are they looking forward to when it comes to the draft?
Well, they've got multiple needs. They've got needs on the offensive line, running back, defensive line, meaning both tackle and end, linebacker. I've kind of explained it, especially for this first-round pick, that if you put positions on the dartboard instead of numbers and you blindfolded throwing a dart, chances are whatever you hit, the Cowboys need. And obviously, you can't get everything in the first round, so I think they can be very flexible when they get to 24 to, kind of say, okay, which one of these guys makes that position better? And looking at what you guys have already shown here in those first 23 picks, I think if that worked out that way for the Cowboys, if they can find a trading partner, they certainly could trade down to 28, 30, because I see there's at least 4 or 5 players the Cowboys would be more than happy to draft at that point.
Mickey Spagnuolo, the senior writer for DallasCowboys.com, longtime friend of Coach Campo as well. Our thanks to Coach for helping make this connection as Mickey makes the pick for the Cowboys with the 24th overall pick in the media mock draft. The Cowboys, Mickey, will select.
Seeing I can't trade down, but I'm going to take the guy that I think they would take that's still on the board, Zach Frazier, the center from West Virginia.
All right, there it is. The Cowboys do indeed go offensive line. I wish we had more time, Mickey. Maybe we'll have to have you on at some point in the next few weeks because Taylor and I looked at each other and we're like,
we need to know more about Dak.
We need to know more about Dak. We need to know more about the quarterback situation in Dallas long term. But we have your number. Shout out to Coach Campo. We'll be sure to circle back with you.
Give me a call. I'll be glad to join you.
All right, thanks so much, Mickey. So he did select Zach Frazier, the center out of West Virginia. I don't think a lot of people necessarily had him in the top 32 going, but let's learn more about Zach.
Zach Frazier, center, West Virginia. A decorated high school wrestler, Frazier won 4 consecutive heavyweight state championships. His talent saw him excel in football as well, starting for 4 years at guard and center for the Mountaineers. Frazier is a tough physical blocker with good patience and pass protection. He also excels as a run blocker, driving defenders off the line at the point of attack. Scouts believe he'll be a reliable interior lineman at the next level.
By the way, for those of you keeping score, yes, by our count, Tylese Fuaga and Troy Fatanu both remain available in the 2024 1010XL Media Mock Draft. Lauren, myself, and Taylor have agreed that is because everyone's afraid to try to pronounce their names.
That is correct. When we return, the Packers will be on the clock. Let's find out what Taylor's least favorite team wants to do. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Proud to serve sports radio to those who proudly protect our country. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Folks, the First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in 4 categories: Best Orthopedic Practice, Physical Therapy, Pain Management, and Foot Care Clinic. For the last 30 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The live casino is so easy to use. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in the palm of your hands and you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. A revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
Did you know that a metal roof from Prime Roofing has the highest wind and impact ratings available? If you want a stronger roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Learn more at primeroofingfl.com. primeroofingfl.com.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by Window Gain Jacksonville. The Florida Gators baseball handled their midweek competition with ease after run-ruling Stetson and capturing the victory 13-3. Head coach Kevin O'Sullivan was very pleased with his pitching that included 0 walks on the night.
I mean, it's pretty much how you want to draw it up. Everybody threw under 40 pitches. We didn't walk anybody. I thought Ryan coming in with base loaded, nobody out, and limited to 1 run was probably the turning point in the game. I thought he threw the ball really well. Had some soft contact. His stuff looked sharp. That's the second really good outing for Frankie. Obviously, Luke came in and threw 8 pitches and 7 strikes. To be able to play a midweek game and not anybody get overextended and they're still fresh to go on Friday night, kind of what you'd hope for these midweek games.
The Jacksonville Icemen are down south for Game 3 of the first round of the Kelly Cup playoffs tonight, currently tied in their series with the Everblades. Puck drop at 7:30. It's 76 degrees at 1 o'clock, time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Our media mock draft continues. Jaguars today did the first half, and we are now halfway through our show. The Packers are picking 25th, and they are now on the clock.
Well, we head back up north for the 25th pick with the Green Bay Packers, and we are joined by Bill Huber. He's a Packers beat for Sports Illustrated. Bill, thank you for joining us.
Happy to do it. How are you?
We are great. Draft day is now a day away, and we're excited. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the stuff that's been going on with the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love, a really good season last year, but I want to talk about those 3 receivers that we saw, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Jaden Reed. I read a stat about how each of them led in receiving and receptions, receiving yards a different month during last season. Tell us a little bit about kind of just what the offense did and how Jordan Love was so involved with that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm going to say I was wrong on Jordan Love. I didn't see any of what happened during the second half of the year. I never would have predicted it in 1,000 years. So he was lights up. But, the GM, Brian Gutekunst, really rolled the dice where he's going to let the young quarterback go with a whole bunch of young receivers. He could have signed one in free agency last year. He could have re-signed Alan Lazard. Instead, he went with all those young guys to go alongside the young quarterback. And by the second half of the year, the group really got going. I mean, Christian Watson is a big play threat. Romeo Doubs is fabulous in the playoffs. Jaden Reed's a dynamic slot guy, and even Dontavian Wicks, their 5th-round pick, really got on the roll there late. So, is there a number 1 receiver there? I don't know, but they've got so many guys. I don't know how any defense can match up with all the weapons that they have. Again, they might not have a superstar there, but they've got so many really good guys. They're going to cause all sorts of problems for secondaries this year.
Will the Packers go offense with that 25th pick, or will they give new defense coordinator Jeff Hafley a new toy on the defensive side of the ball? With that 25th pick, Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated selects.
Well, because everybody took offensive linemen ahead of me, I will take Cooper DeJean, the defensive. I was serious. I would have taken offensive tackle, and I was looking at he's gone. So I'll take Cooper DeJean, the cornerback / nickel / safety from Iowa. Makes a lot of sense to help Jeff Hafley, and they've gone defense every year for last 800 years, other than picking Jordan Love in 2020. So I'll go defense and the defensive back.
All right, so Cooper DeJean with the Packers' 25th pick. Thank you, Bill, for hopping on with us. We really appreciate it.
Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the draft.
Thank you.
There he goes, and we will learn more about Cooper DeJean, the Iowa corner.
Cooper DeJean, defensive back, Iowa.
Second down 10. They're going to come back there. You can bet on it. Now they go to the underneath man, and Cooper picks it off. Cooper, DeJean heading for pay dirt. Has one man to beat, downed inside the 5 at the 4-yard line.
A consensus All-American, Cooper DeJean is an elite athlete and a versatile defender. He's an instinctive player that always seems to be one step ahead of the offense. DeJean has the ability to play either man or zone and is also an asset in run defense. Scouts are divided on his best fit, but he has the physical tools to contribute in the NFL as a safety on the outside or as a nickel corner.
Warms my heart to hear Gary Dolphin, the voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Lauren.
I'm sure it does. All right, the Bucs pick 26. They are now on the clock.
Let's say hello to another one of my friends, although this one is by way of the Sunshine State. Evan Klosky, the sports director at WTSP in Tampa, joining us, I believe, for his third straight 1010XL Media mock draft to make the selection for the Buccaneers. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well, and once again, like always when doing this process, everybody that I had on my board has been taken. So this wouldn't be a good run for the Bucs if it happens like this, but we're prepared.
Hey, exactly. You've been picking in the 20s now for how many years since you got down there to Tampa Town, Evan? I would think in terms of your knowledge / your research / what they're thinking down there with Jason Light and company, I would think that they have to be looking at a couple different options, knowing where they pick once again.
Yeah, so I think number one, if they can, they would love to fulfill the needs in the defensive trenches, especially on the edge. To me, the difference between actually considering Tampa Bay as a legitimate Super Bowl contender or not comes with, can you sack the quarterback? Do you have a pass rusher who can actually put the quarterback down on the ground? So right now they do not have that consistent option. And if someone fell to them on this board, maybe they would even trade up if they got close enough. I think that they would attack that need, but they also have needs on the interior of the offensive line. So really when it comes down to a couple of spots where they need to address it early, people who need to step in immediately next season, I believe it's in the trenches, whether offensively or defensively.
Evan, what are the vibes, the thoughts around Baker Mayfield?
Man, he made such a wonderful impression in the first year. I think entering, it was a little bit of Baker wanting the Bucs, right? I mean, there was an opportunity there. Certainly was going to be his last starting gig. If it didn't work out, right, he was probably going to be sent to be a backup for the rest of his career. And the relationships he made, not only with the people within the building, like the GM, the head coach, so on and so forth, but with his teammates. I mean, they love that guy. He is gritty. He fights for yards. He's vocal. He will go out and hang around town with all of them. I remember Tristan Wirfs kind of jokingly saying, I'm not going to go grab a beer with Tom Brady, right? Like he's like my dad. But with Baker, they're like best friends. So, man, the vibes are good surrounding him. He got that contract. I think it was well deserved. And all of a sudden, this rebuild that we thought was going to happen when Tom Brady left has quickly become we're a little bit closer to getting back into this realm of maybe pushing for a Super Bowl than we originally thought, maybe leaving 2022 and entering 2023.
We joke about Tom Brady. Florida kind of made Tom Brady fun, and now we've seen the resurgence of Baker Mayfield in Florida. But with the 26th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will select
Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon. It might be a little bit of a reach at this spot, but I think he's a day one starter. You bring him in. It's no secret that the Buccaneers rushing attack has been hellacious for a few seasons now. I don't think it's a coincidence that the minute that Ryan Jensen got hurt, that the rushing attack really went south. And there's a lot of Ryan Jensen in Jackson Powers-Johnson. He's a guy that you love to turn on the film and watch. He's a dog out there, had a wonderful experience out there in Mobile as well with rave reviews. So I think that he's a dude who will bring that feisty energy that Jason Light loves in the offensive trenches and really continue to solidify that offensive line unit as they're still trying to piece things together after the terrible injury to Ryan Jensen forcing his retirement, and then, of course, the unexpected retirement of Ali Marpet that happened a couple of years ago.
Love the pick, love the fit. You are the best, Evan Klosky. We appreciate you for joining us for a third straight Media Mock Draft.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And without further ado, let's get to know JPJ.
Jackson Powers-Johnson, center, Oregon. The winner of the Dave Remington Award honoring the best center in college football, Jackson Powers-Johnson is one of the best interior linemen in this year's draft class. He's a strong pass protector that keeps a low pad level to fend off bull rushes on the inside. In the run game, he's a major asset who can win blocks with his physicality at the point of attack. Although he primarily was a center in college, scouts believe he could also start as a guard in the NFL.
There you have it. Now, the Cardinals already picked Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th overall in our media mock draft. Their next pick comes at 27, so Arizona is on the clock again. Darren Urban joins us from azcardinals.com. Darren, I feel like fans have to be pretty happy if they've got Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and now the 27th pick.
Yeah, I think generally, first of all, I think if the Cardinals take Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4, while they're going to be excited for the other picks, I think that alone is going to energize the fan base because that's what everybody is hoping and expecting here around Arizona, as opposed to perhaps a trade down.
And I can understand the trade down would certainly mean that they've been dreaming about this prospect. They've been, just at some point in time, I'm sure, watching Marvin Harrison Jr. film over and over and over again. So if they don't get him, that'll be upsetting. But where do you think they go with that 27th pick?
Judging by the players that have come off the board for you guys so far, I'm going to go with Clemson cornerback Nate Wiggins. Cornerback is a position of need for them. There's a few on the board that could go in that 27 range and that are still there. Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama is still available. But I'm going to go with Nate Wiggins. It's a position that they addressed in free agency with Sean Murphy-Bunting. But the rest of their cornerbacks are relatively inexperienced. They did draft a couple last year, and there's a couple that they like. But I think they would like to get somebody that could possibly be plug and play as a rookie. This defense needs a lot of work. I wouldn't be shocked if they went defensive line, depending on who is there, or maybe edge rusher if they like somebody well enough. But I think the way this board comes down and the names we've seen around, cornerback makes the most sense to me.
Is there any concern for you when talking Nate Wiggins about the size?
Again, without knowing exactly what they're looking for, it's really hard to tell. Again, I think the way they play defense, the way they're kind of set up, I think he would still fit within this defense, the way Nick Rallis wants to do things. And again, at this point, they just need players, to be honest. And guys that would work. And I think Wiggins had a nice year here with Clemson. He makes a lot of sense with what they're trying to do, and that just seems to be, like I said, with the way this board has fallen, that's where I would go at this point.
All right, we appreciate it, Darren. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
By the way, if you are curious as to how the board is fallen, we are keeping track on Twitter, so make sure you follow at 1010XL. Gus is doing a great job through every pick of updating who made the pick and who exactly they picked. So again, he just selected Nate Wiggins, Clemson corner, as did Darren, and so let's get more information on Nate.
Nate Wiggins, cornerback, Clemson.
Back to pass, three-man rush. Pressure gets on him. Going to have to roll left side, and it's just going to throw it. It's picked off. Picked off Wiggins. Wiggins returns it to the 20, the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Wiggins steps in front of the pass on the sideline and
the house.
A terrific all-around cover corner, Nate Wiggins often finds himself running routes for receivers. He gets it done in a variety of ways, whether in press man, off man, or zone coverage, and is comfortable in one-on-one matchups. At just 173 pounds, he lacks a bit of physicality, but he has the skill set of a true number one corner.
All right, the Buffalo Bills are now on the clock.
A second Ithaca College reference of the program. Fellow Bomber Dom Tibbetts joining us now from WKBW, the ABC affiliate up in Buffalo, New York. How are you, sir?
Hey, roll Bombers, Mia. I am great. Thank you. It's always a great day to be a Bomber.
Well said, my friend. I know the ladies here are sick and tired of hearing me say that, as are many of our listeners, but we will roll Bombers till the cows come home. The Buffalo Bills, Dom, are in such a fascinating situation. Having dealt away Stephon Diggs, everyone and their mother knows they're going to be drafting a wide receiver high, but will that be with a first, second-round pick, or do you see them perhaps finding depth and value later in the NFL draft?
I think because the wide receiver class is so deep, Mia, you can absolutely find value. And I because there's no trades in this, I understand. I think there are a couple of guys that, if I'm Brandon Beane, you go up and get. Rome Odunze, if you're really, really feeling like you could make a move and not have to sell the house, maybe Malik Neighbors gets in there. But I always say the sweet spot is if you get yourself up in the mid part of the first round, then maybe a Brian Thomas gets to you. I think that's the best bet, but because there's so much deep talent in this wide receiver class, it almost makes more sense. If you're not going to get that bona fide guy you feel like to be able to come in and be that immediate threat for you, get back maybe second round, compile a third round pick because they don't have any, and then just start stacking some depth there. So it's really interesting. They could go a lot of different ways with it.
Now, Dom, I know this moment is about you guys, the Buffalo Bills, but I do need to ask you about the new addition to the Jacksonville Jaguars and Gabe Davis. Thoughts about him and how he can help out Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, he's going to be such a good this is just from my personal, relationship with Gabe and talking to him. Like, first, he's going to be such a good locker room guy. He's so beloved, and wearing the C on his chest last season for Buffalo, I mean, he took that with such great pride, and the guys really respond. But, yeah, I mean, Gabe's talent is just not even at its full potential yet. And for a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who's getting his footing and finding his way in the NFL, Gabe is going to be a good downfield, good threat where, if you throw up some 50-50 balls, hopefully that's the next part of Gabe's game that we see develop is his ability to go up and get some of those 50-50 balls that we saw him struggle with in Buffalo. But I love his ability to separate. I can't tell you how many times, you saw Gabe Davis open over the middle of the field and just something didn't happen there. I think the clear one is everybody gets a little nervous with Gabe about his drop passes and how he's kind of led the league in that, or pretty close to it over the last two seasons. I think with his maturity and his progression in his career, I think that number will go down. And it's a great pick for Jacksonville. And, shout out to Mitch Morse, too. You guys got two big locker room guys from Buffalo that kind of get to cement themselves in a Jacksonville system that I'm sure you guys can attest to more than I am, but seems to be going in the right direction.
Yes, we certainly appreciate both of them, especially, like you said, Mitch Morse as well. All right, Dom, you have the 28th pick. Who are the Buffalo Bills taking?
I can't believe he is still on the board, but we're keeping with the wide receiver train. It's Adonai Mitchell out of the University of Texas. An electrically fast guy, 4.34 on a 40 at 6'2". There's a couple things you look at, the draft profiles of some of the downsides to them. But if the Bills are looking for that future number one now that Diggs is gone, I don't know if AD comes in immediately and becomes a Justin Jefferson, this guy who just shows such promise in his rookie year. You're like, okay, it's solidified. But I feel like it's going to get there with him. And if you're still sitting at 28 and general manager Brandon Beane has AD Mitchell to his disposal, yeah, absolutely take him.
I felt like it was either going to be AD or Ladd McConkey because I know Ryan O'Halloran of the Buffalo News has been stumping for Ladd as well. But Dom does stick with the wide receiver and goes with Texas's AD Mitchell, the Buffalo Bills at 28th overall. Dom, we appreciate you, brother man. Thanks for joining us.
As always, guys, glad to be here. Thanks for involving me.
There he goes, Dom Tibbetts, WKBW up in Buffalo.
All right, let's learn more about AD Mitchell.
Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, Texas.
Snap goes back to Murphy. A league deep retreat. He's going deep. He has Mitchell open in the end zone. He caught it. Touchdown, Texas. Adonai Mitchell somehow just wandered back behind the defense, leaped in the air. The ball settled in, and it's a Longhorn touchdown.
Mitchell is a talented receiver with good route running ability. At 6'4", his height and length can make him a matchup nightmare for opposing corners. He scored 11 touchdowns for the Longhorns last season and is a great red zone threat who can create space with his size. However, there is some concern that he lacks the explosiveness to separate from corners at the pro level.
Adonai Mitchell, he is a Texas wide receiver, but of course by way of the University of Georgia. All right, the Detroit Lions are now on the clock. We have made it to pick 29.
4 picks left in the 1010XL Media mock draft, and now we are back up north at pick 29 with the Detroit Lions. Detroit obviously winning the NFC North last year. Really, really fun, especially offensively team to watch, and we are joined by Mike Payton. He is the Lions beat for A to Z Sports. So, Mike, thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and talk some of this breaking news we got today. Amon Ra St. Brown gets a 4-year, $120 million contract. Thoughts about the money? Thoughts about kind of what that big role he's played on Detroit's offense?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely deserved. He's been one of the best receivers that this team has had in quite a while. I mean, since Calvin Johnson at least. It was 3rd in receptions last year, 3rd in yards, 4th in touchdowns. Made his first All-Pro appearance. He's just been ascending every single year. And it just felt like this was the way that things were going to be trending. There was some early talk that maybe he would get something closer to like $25 million a year, and it would be a little bit more. But as time has gone on and OTAs have started, like it's all that numbers continued to trend up, and now here we are. He's the highest paid receiver in NFL history at this point. So huge.
Contract extension for Jared Goff coming next, Mike, or do you think this upcoming NFL draft might signal that the Lions may be shifting, maybe in a new let's find some new blood to bring onto the offensive side of the ball?
Well, from what I'm hearing, and obviously nothing is set in stone or anything like that, not reporting anything, but it certainly would appear that Jared Goff is coming up next at some point before the season starts. So that definitely seems to be the route that this team is going. They're going to stick with Goff.
And I can understand why after the season certainly that he had and the Lions had. All right, Mike, you are on the clock. Who are the Lions taking at pick 29?
Well, I am going to go back-to-back receivers here. I saw Mitchell got picked for the Bills. I'm going to be taking South Carolina's Xavier Legette to join the Lions offense. Now, obviously, they've already got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. Got a strong running back group as well with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. But what this team doesn't have, it has lacked for a long time, is that big-bodied X-receiver that can go up, get contested catches, high point the ball in the end zone, win battles with his strength. Leggett is that guy. And the interesting part is that this is the only receiver that the Lions have had both a formal meeting at the Combine with and a top 30 visit. So there's definitely some interest there. They actually just had him in this past week. They also went to his pro day, so there is a ton of interest there. And if they don't grab him at 29, there's a real shot they can't get him at 61. So I see them definitely going for him or trading down in the early second, and trying to grab him.
Mike, with or without the addition of Xavier Leggett, it looks like the NFC North could have some stacked wide receivers there, although in Minnesota, Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit. So it'll definitely be an interesting division to watch this next season. But thanks for hopping on with us. We appreciate it. So with the 29th pick, the Detroit Lions pick Xavier Leggett. Thank you, Mike, and have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thanks.
All right, let's learn more about the South Carolina wide receiver Xavier Leggett.
Xavier Leggett, wide receiver, South Carolina.
Goes down the field, left side, and it's going at the 35-yard line. And it's Leggett running away for the second one of the night. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown, Xavier Leggett. Are you kidding me? Boom, 75 yards.
Xavier Leggett made little noise for most of his time at South Carolina, but broke out in his senior season with 71 catches and over 1,200 yards. He has rare physical tools with great size and speed. At 6'3", 227 pounds, he ran a 4.3 40-yard dash at the Combine. Some scouts worry that he may have been a one-year wonder, but Legette's measurables are undeniable.
Fatanu Fuaga's still available. Gus Sloag, I don't know if we should be sending out a graphic or alerting anybody, but I just think everybody's too scared to say their names.
3 more picks to go. On the other side, the Baltimore Ravens will be on the clock. Keep it right here on Helmets and Heels on the Media Mock Draft Part 2 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. Come aboard the Frangie Express.
Pedal to the metal right now. Pedal to the metal. All right, let's go.
Frank Frangie.
One with a golden touch.
And Hayes Carline.
So you're the top dog around here.
They are the Frangie Show. Afternoons on 1010XL.
Are you looking for quality tires that won't break the bank? Well, Big Chief Tire has you covered. Frank Frangie here. Get $50 off a new set of tires, and for even greater savings, finance with the CFNA card to receive an additional $50 off your first purchase and no interest for 6 months. Schedule an appointment today at BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 and take advantage of these incredible deals. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial and residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights as well. 10-year workmanship warranty, financing available, military and senior citizen discounts, no subcontractors. Mention this ad at the time of the estimate and receive $500 off any new re-roof. Call Mark today, 982-4052, 982-4052, licensed and insured.
Is your AC system showing signs of wear and tear? Get ahead of your AC system replacement before the summer with JTM Comfort Services. Nothing worse than coming home on a hot summer afternoon to find your AC stopped working. Right now, get a special rebate on the purchase and installation of an 18 to 20 SEER Bosch heat pump system. Financing now available on qualified repairs and replacements.
Your comfort is our name. Call my dad to keep him in the game.
Hey sports fans, it's Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Are mosquitoes turning your outdoor fun into a full contact sport? Time to call in Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, they are the MVPs of mosquito elimination. See for yourself. Call Kingfish Pest Control today and get an unbeatable 50% off your first treatment. That's right, sign up for a full season of lockdown coverage and get 50% off your first treatment. Don't let mosquitoes steal your home field advantage. Reclaim your yard with Kingfish Pest Control.
Excelling in the classroom and the sports arena is quite an accomplishment. That's why 1010XL salutes the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on the Frangie Show, brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Splish, splash, I'm taking up.
Everything okay in here?
Oh, yeah, sure is.
You're wearing a life jacket.
Sure am.
In the tub?
Practicing for when we head to the lake. I read about wearing one at wearitflorida.com.
And wearitflorida.com told you to wear it in the tub?
No, that was my idea. You know, Florida is the leader in boating fatalities, so a life jacket can save lives.
As you were.
Splish, splash, I was taking a
Learn
bath.
more at wearitflorida.com.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
The 2024 draft is almost here.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Join us at Everbank Stadium Thursday, April 25th for the official Duval Draft Party presented by Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Be there as the Jaguars make the 17th overall pick, and don't miss the unveiling of the official 30th season logo that you voted on. We're getting the party started at 7 p.m. Tickets are free, so register today at jaguars.com/draft party. We can't wait to see you there.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select.
So you want a new ride, but you've got to get payments to fit your monthly budget, right? Well, if you want low payments, then you've got to go to Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned and save today. How does this sound? Just $500 down and $288 per month gets you a pre-owned 2021 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $500 down and $388 per month. Arlington Pre-Owned will even help you with your credit. Get a fresh start with help from Arlington's friendly Credit for Everyone pre-approval helper. It's all about getting you approved. And remember, you can buy pre-owned with total confidence thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange program. That's 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. But don't wait. You got to go to Arlington Pre-Owned today if you want just $500 down, low payments, 30-day exchange, and friendly credit for everyone. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
The latest in innovative imaging technology is at Ackerman Cancer Center. With total body MRI, PET, and CT scans, plus 3D mammography, offers unparalleled precision in cancer detection. Schedule your screening now at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels.
Illuminated by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
We have made it to pick number 30. That means the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. And we now welcome in former Raven, Kadri Ismail, the co-host of the Purple Pregame Show. Kadri, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. And I guess I was listening in and realizing that Tyler Guyton has been taken off the board. You got Mims, big tackle from Georgia. He was taken off the board. We sat here in our war room. We ate some really hardcore roast beef sandwiches with a little bit of the spicy mustard. And we were like, okay, who we're going to take? Why? Because of Ronnie Stanley and his injury situation. Morgan Moses, he's gone. John Simpson, he's gone. We need to replenish the offensive line. We recognize we got King Henry via free agency. Lamar Jackson's our franchise guy. As much as everybody want to talk about it, we think the logical pick is Graham Barton, left tackle out of Duke. I like his versatility. I like the fact that he played center early in his career. That means that he doesn't necessarily have to right away start at left tackle, but can play across the offensive line, possibly in John Simpson's departed spot at left guard. And that gives us a chance to get some flexibility with some of the young guys we already have, and then potentially move them over into that left tackle spot when we feel that Ronnie Stanley is swimming with the fishes and moved on in his career. So therefore, Commissioner, we are giving you our pick right now.
I love the pick, Kadri. I love the fit. I'm looking over at our producers right now to make sure they haven't actually sent out the graphic with your official pick, because I do want to make sure that RJ walked you through in our, again, media mock draft. Troy Fatanu and Tylese Fuaga also available. I'm not sure if that may shift your pick. I'm not trying to influence it. No tampering is allowed on this program. But I am just curious, knowing that Tyler Linderbaum, of course, is in the flock. Graham Barton certainly can play all 5 positions. But if there was, let's say, someone with more interior guard capabilities versus offensive tackle outside, I'm curious, what position would you say along the line right now is the biggest need for the Ravens?
So this is the thing, because of the versatility, that's where, from an offensive line standpoint, you go all the way back to my former teammate, Hall of Famer Jonathan Ogden. While you look at the board, the Ravens, we do things differently. And that's why we've been champions. I know Jacksonville's trying to get up there and help themselves out. Not quite there yet. Okay, y'all got, some of the Tom Coughlin years. We got it. But you're not there yet. So from a board aspect of things, we take our board, we look at it, we dissect it, We wanted Mims. Couldn't do it. Okay? Then all of a sudden we looked at Tyler. We like Tyler. Oh, yeah, you're going to be a part of this whole flow of Raven the flock. But then all of a sudden, the doggone other media members, they're smart. They took those two dudes from me. But that's okay. Because when you look at the way in which Jonathan Ogden, as I was saying earlier, he started off his career at guard before having his Hall of Fame career at left tackle. So I think it would be an easy plug and play for the way Graham is versatile. And then again, you look at Tyler Linderbaum and the way in which he has just commanded the center position. I think the language that he would speak to Graham, it's a smooth and easy flow. We're looking for guys that can be plugged and played because of we have guys like Voorhees, we have guys like Faalele from last year who really, in my opinion, are guys that are going to compete for starting roles on the offensive line because, like I said, Morgan Moses is gone and John Simpson is gone. But I like the fact that, yeah, if you want to develop a guy and allow him to get some valuable play time, put Graham on there and let Barton eat and feast.
All right, perfect. Kadri, thank you so much for all your insight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, he selects Graham Barton, Duke offensive lineman.
Graham Barton, guard, Duke. A 3-year starter at Duke, Barton played at center before moving to left tackle in his sophomore season for the Blue Devils. Smooth in pass protection, his strength also allows him to make an impact in the run game and in short yardage situations. Barton has positional versatility, and although he played tackle in college, scouts believe he would be better served as either a guard or center at the next level, but he has the ability to play both.
All right, there you have it. Now, with the 31st pick, the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock.
Okay, so our next guest goes by the nickname The Butcher Boy. He is Joe Shasky of 95.7 The Game. But The Butcher Boy says to me, knowing full well some of the Niners' needs, Joe, that offensive line, I'm trying. I'm not trying to tamper, like I was just saying to Kadri. I'm not trying to tamper, but we still have some pretty big names on the offensive line. Could the Niners go that route, both in this media mock draft simulation, but also on draft night tomorrow?
No. Well, they're going to trade Brandon Ayuk, so I think they're going to have 3 picks at minimum in rounds 1 through 2. So I'm assuming they're trading Brandon Ayuk on draft day, whether that's for a day 1 pick, first round, or a day 2 pick, or some sort of combination of day 2 and future picks. They're going to have to shore up offensive line and wide receiver. I personally believe the first pick will be a wide receiver, but I think this pick today, given off who's already been taken, because some of these homies around the league are taking all my players, for Christ's sake, I'm going to run up and take Keon Coleman. I don't think this will be the guy they take at this spot, but they're definitely taking a wide receiver, and the reason why they need an X guy who can play on the line, out on the outside, who can beat man coverage. Did you watch the Super Bowl? Deebo Samuel gets 0 separation. They can't trade him. The dead cap money is through the roof this year. He's probably one and done this year with the Niners. Ayuk is the guy who can fetch them back some draft capital. They're in kind of a salary cap situation because they got to pay CMC a little bit of guaranteed money, and they got to get ready for the big Brock Purdy payday. So you got to get him weapons, and you got to get him somebody who can replace Brandon Ayuk. I'm picking Keon Coleman here, but I don't think Keon Coleman is the selection for the 49ers.
Well, we would be remiss if we didn't ask, do you have any idea where Brandon Ayuk might be traded to?
Your guess is as good as mine. Whoever's ready to pay him somewhere between $25 and $30 million. I mean, it's pretty clear to me. The number's the number. Like, once Devontae Smith, that is, got his number, once you saw Amon-Ra St. Brown get what he got today, to me it's somewhere between $77 million guaranteed, and it's somewhere between $51 million guaranteed, and it's probably looking at between $25 and $30 million AAV. And the reason that the Niners don't have the money to pay him right now is because they need draft capital to shore up their depth. They don't think he's worth that money at that tag, and they've already paid Deebo Samuel. I think if they hadn't paid Deebo Samuel 2 years prior, and after acquiring CMC, like the devaluing of Deebo is pretty evident now, Like, I think they would have already paid him, but I think he's gone. I think Washington with the 2 second-round picks, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, who's willing to give the most for this guy? Don't sleep on Indianapolis. I think someone's going to give Brandon Ayuk the contract he's looking for and the Niners the draft capital, and I think he is as good as gone.
He is half of the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game out in San Francisco. You can catch them from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time, where a little birdie told me, Joe, your question of the day was regarding Brandon Ayuk. I can only imagine it received a similar response to the question about potentially trading Steph Curry yesterday. So we appreciate you. Continue to be a warrior.
Whoa. Don't ever put 4-time champion, 2-time MVP, Steph Curry on the same pedestal. Ayuk's a fine player. We're talking levels to the game. I mean, Steph Curry is a top. Steph Curry is bigger than Joe Montana, for Christ's sake. I'm a fifth-generation San Francisco. Steph Curry is right next to the Holy Lord himself when it comes to who we bow down to in the Bay. So I love Brandon Ayuk. He's a fine player. I mean, there's levels to this thing. Like, Steph Curry is on Mount Rushmore. Brandon Ayuk is at the bottom of the mountain looking up.
If this doesn't make you want to tune into the Morning Roast, folks, on the East Coast, I don't know what will. Joe, we appreciate you for joining us as part of the 1010XL Media Mock Draft.
Keep crushing it. And stop taking my pick.
All right, let's learn more about FSU wide receiver Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, wide receiver, Florida State.
Travis takes a step, lofts it towards the corner of the end zone for Keon Coleman. He's got it. Death Valley has just been rezoned. You're now a part of Keon County. Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, FSU.
Keon Coleman is a terrific athlete. A former starter at Michigan State, he even played 6 games with Tom Izzo on the Spartans basketball team. He then transferred to FSU and scored 11 touchdowns in 12 games in 2023. He's 6'4" with a large build, but lacks the straight line speed of other top prospects. However, he has great burst off the line of scrimmage.
I loved that highlight. Instead of Tallahassee, Leon County, now Keon County. Of course, most FSU fans know all about Keon Coleman, and he went with the 31st pick. All right, we have arrived at the final pick. The Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock.
We're here to chat some Super Bowl champions, and we are joined by Eric Eager of Sumer Sports. It just feels like at this point, Eric, that we are just waiting to find a team who could possibly take down Patrick Mahomes because it looks like him/the Kansas City Chiefs against the field until further notice.
Yeah, absolutely, especially last year when that offense fell down from first in the league and, basically every metric down to like the bottom of the top 10, a lot of struggles throughout the year. They won the Super Bowl with defense, which was a laughable notion probably 4 or 5 years ago. And now they're bellying up to this draft with some needs on offense.
Eric, are you going to save the day? There's 2 very important offensive linemen still on the board in this simulation, in this media mock draft.
Mia's melting.
I'm melting down. Someone please select the Samoans. Like, my heart is crumbling right now. And knowing full well that there's a lot of reports out there that the Chiefs are looking at left tackle. I'm not sure if RJ informed you, but yes, they both are on the board.
They are. I'm going to pass, though. The thing...
You're going receiver, aren't you, Eric?
I am. So the thing is, the Chiefs last year were able to get by with, former Jag, Jawan Taylor at right tackle. They had Donovan Smith, the former Buck, at left tackle for most of the year. He's still a pending free agent. I'm sure that he's just on retainer for the Chiefs right now. Wanya Morris, a day 2 pick last year, started for some of the year, was okay. I think that they have contingencies there where they can be okay, even if they don't, go receiver. But obviously, former Jacksonville native Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he was cut this past year after being a playoff hero for 2 years. Rashee Rice got himself in some trouble in Texas, driving his car quite fast. And beyond that, they really just had, former second-round pick Sky Moore, Justin Watson, a former Super Bowl champion with the Bucks, and, Kadarius Toney, a former Florida Gator, of course, and just not the who's who of wide receivers. And so this is a team that specifically almost always has the one deep threat on the team, and that player may not be productive, but he fills that trait of being able to hold the free safety back. And so with the 32nd pick, Xavier Worthy just feels like that guy for the Chiefs. And even though it seems chalky, and they certainly could go offensive lineman or defensive lineman. I thought Johnny Newton was also a possibility here, but he's well off the board for this mock. So I think Xavier Worthy, wide receiver, Texas, is the pick here.
Reuniting Patrick Mahomes with some speedy wide receiver. I guess that makes a whole ton of sense, but it is breaking Mia's heart.
I know this is a simulation, Eric, and you know this from covering the whole league. Like, these things do happen. I know it's not going to happen necessarily tomorrow when, you don't, you're just calling in, RJ's giving you a list and your brain's, on the clock. But, I mean, do you see a world where one of these tackles, not necessarily Fatano and Fuaga specifically, but where one of these tackles does fall, especially knowing that there's so much speculation around the league that teams may trade up for a tackle?
Yeah, I think that the betting markets right now have 9.5 offensive linemen, and the over is pretty juiced towards over. So I think that you're going to see teams like Carolina. I think you're going to see teams like even possibly the Cleveland Browns, maybe not trade all the way into first round, but trade up. I think you're going to see a lot of teams trade back into the first round to take those players. To me, it's because the fifth-year option is so inexpensive for linemen because they develop more slowly. And so the first-round picks, you get that fifth year, there's a lot of surplus there for linemen. So I do think there are going to be 10 or more offensive linemen in round one. I think in a situation where there are no trades, it might be harder to simulate that, but I do think that you'll see Carolina maybe pick tomorrow. You'll see teams that don't have a first-round pick trade back in and make a play there, or trade back in for their second first-round pick and scoop up tackles because, for the most part, tackles, you have to take them high, and wide receivers are more of a flat market after you get past the Roma Duneses of the world.
Eric Eager of Sumer Sports selecting Xavier Worthy for the Kansas City Chiefs at pick number 32. Eric, appreciate you. It was great chatting once again, and have a good rest of your day.
Hey, have a good one. Take care.
All right, the 32nd pick, Xavier Worthy. Let's learn more about him and that 4.21 speed.
Xavier Worthy, wide receiver, Texas.
First down, quick swing pass out to Worthy to the 40. Makes a man miss down the sidelines. 30, 20, seeing good down to it. It's Xavier Worthy in for a touchdown. 44 yards, and the Longhorns are back in front.
Xavier Worthy is the fastest receiver in this year's draft. He proved it at the Combine when he ran a 4.21 40-yard dash, breaking the all-time record. Along with speed comes good hands and skilled route running. He also has versatility in the slot and has been used as a punt returner in the past. The obvious downside is size. At 172 pounds, he could struggle to separate with stronger corners at the NFL level.
This hour of Helmets and Heels is brought to you by First Coast Honda dealers.
We found the computer outlet, sir.
Plug in. No static ever. Download the free 1010XL app for Apple and Android devices and take us with you wherever you go.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water throughout your home, call your local water boy. We install equipment to solve any water problem. WaterBoyJax.com.
Consider a high-quality metal roof from Prime Roofing for your next roof. Their in-house fabricated metal roofs last longer, reduce cooling costs, and are recyclable. If you want a smarter roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Schedule your free estimate at PrimeRoofingFL.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and summer fun. That means it can be any time, whenever there's warm weather out, to go enjoy the off-roads with a Honda ride. Now, this is a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler.
That's right. Honda's got a great line of two-wheel products, and of course, their side-by-sides and ATVs, which are legendary and a ton of fun to get out with your family and friends.
I tell everybody, you can pretty much load up and go anywhere and find fun with one of those.
Absolutely.
Honda, with their beautiful off-road lineup, two wheels and four wheels. Check them out on the showroom floor at Atlantic near Regency or online, cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Americans know that one size does not fit all. We want individual choice, and our kids' education should be no different. Hello, it's Congressman Aaron Bean. Whether it's private, charter, religious, homeschool, or even a public school in a different location, families should decide how their child learns. More power for parents, more options for students, a better education for everyone. That's what I'm fighting for. This is Congressman Aaron Bean, and serving you is what we do. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Everything you need to know about your Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
Every weekday from 10 to noon on 1010XL.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Dave Binion here with my son Ammon, who is the air duct cleaning manager at Zero Res. So Ammon, you may notice a little rattle in my voice and some puffiness in my eyes. That's because allergy season is coming on. Can Zero Res help?
Yes, your health has a lot to do with the air you breathe. A clean and healthy home begins with clean air. At Zero Res, we can help clean the air in your home by cleaning your air ducts, cleaning the coils in your HVAC units, and fogging the system with a powerful antimicrobial that helps kill and control the growth of microorganisms in your air. We also have options for maintaining your clean air with our excellent inline air purifier and UV lights that will help keep your system clean and healthy. At Zero Res, we are more than just air duct cleaners. We're a clean air specialist.
Have Zero Res air duct specialists out, and right now we'll give you $50 off your air duct cleaning, and while we're at it, we'll give you $50 off your dryer vent cleaning. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tired of dealing with clogged drains? What about those bad smells coming from your pipes? No matter how big or small your commercial or residential project may be, my friends at Duck Duck Rooter can handle it. Contact them today for all your plumbing, septic, and air conditioning needs at 904-862-6769. And while I have your attention, Duck Duck Rooter is also hiring plumbers. They offer excellent weekly pay, health insurance, paid holidays, 401k, and more. Apply now at duckduckrooter.com and they will call you for an interview.
This NFL Draft Preview is brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Florida. Be a big.
Jacksonville could have their eye on 6'3" LSU wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. He led the nation with 17 receiving touchdowns and was ranked 13th in receiving yards last season. His collegiate stats improved every year. If Brian Thomas Jr. is the downfield threat Trevor Lawrence has been dreaming about, it could be a season to celebrate in Teal Town.
Ever buy a gym membership but don't ever use it? Who hasn't? ET here, sports fans, and instead, I send plants and flowers to people I love from Kuhn Flowers, home of the beautiful window display on Beach Boulevard. Now that's money well spent. Kuhn Flowers.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
We appreciate everyone who joined us throughout Jaguars Today and Helmets and Heels for the media mock draft. In case you missed it, Frank Frangie selected Brian Thomas Jr., the LSU wide receiver for the Jaguars at 17. You can find all of the picks and who made them on 1010XL's X or Twitter platform. And we certainly, like I said, appreciate everyone for joining us. Of course, XL Primetime comes up next, but don't forget, we will be live at Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra tomorrow and the Players Grill Mandarin on Friday. For Taylor Dahl, for Mia O'Brien, for RJ Saunders, who crushed it today, I'm Lauren Brooks. Don't go anywhere. XL Primetime is next from 2 to 4. These heels are made for talking. We'll talk to you tomorrow live from Mr. Chubby's.